I'm your host Maverick, and today we are starting a new series, Chainsaw Man. And so, I'm sure that there's probably some newcomers here, first time coming to this channel. Welcome, welcome. And I just like to quickly introduce myself and this channel, or I guess mostly this channel actually. So I'll typically divide all my videos into 3 different parts. At the beginning, I will have my opening slash recap slash introduction session, which you are in right now, and then in the middle will be my blind reaction portion, and then finally I will follow it up with what I call my musings section, hence the namesake of this channel. So the musings would basically be sort of like a review or a discussion portion where I talk about things I liked or didn't like from the episode, or from how the actual story is progressing in terms of the series overall. I like to do some theorizing as well, take a guess at some of the world mechanics, the world setting, or indeed where exactly the plot is going to go. Hey, I'm wrong more often than not, but it makes for some interesting discussion, and especially for people who actually do know about the original work and do know what's going to happen and whatnot. I think it's always fun to see like how far or how close one can guess to what is actually going to happen, right? And they will all be timestamped down below, so you can just jump to whichever part that you like. Some people like to look at reactions, some people like to look at or listen to discussions, right? So they'll all be timestamped down below for your convenience. So let's talk a little bit about Chainsaw Man, right? Because I am indeed going into this completely blind as in I don't even know what the heck this is about. Now I've certainly heard of Chainsaw Man because I do read manga as well, but for me personally, I've always been more of a I read the stuff that I want to read kind of guy, right? If I look at it, if I like the artwork, if I like the setting and whatnot, I'll read it. I don't typically pick things up just because it's popular and whatnot. And it's the same for a lot of different popular series of the past few years, like Spy Family or like Kaguya-sama, for an example. So those are examples of stuff that I don't necessarily pick up, or I guess what's it, Tower of God, God of High School, those kind of things. I don't really pick them up just because they're popular, and Chainsaw Man is no exception here, right? I know it's popular, I constantly see discussions in regards to it, but I have absolutely no idea what it's about. All I know is that there's a dude, the main character, I guess, with a chainsaw as a head. And that's literally it, right? I don't even know like what genre it is. I do know that it's supposed to be pretty bloody, question mark. And so I am guessing it's either more, I wouldn't say really horror theme, right? But it has something to do with the supernatural, and it definitely has to do something with fighting, right? At least we can sort of extrapolate that just from the fact that it's you have a dude with a chainsaw as a head, and things get bloody, right? I think that much is obvious here. So, but beyond that though, like literally no idea. So I think this will be fun, right? For a lot of people, seeing someone like a newbie like me and going into this series for the first time, how I feel about it. And I have to say first, I don't really mince things. I don't really mince words, so I think I might also alienate some people, maybe get ostracized because I don't like certain aspects of this, but we will see, right? Now we haven't really even gotten into it yet, so let's just go into it with an open mind. Before moving on, typically when I start a new series, I like to look a little bit at what I call the fundamentals of this anime as well, and that means, the production that's going into it. So for Chainsaw Man in particular, it's being adapted by MAPPA, really needs no introduction. They've always had quality works, even the stuff that I don't like honestly, there's a lot of MAPPA stuff that I don't like, right? And they do a lot of works that are kind of out there as well, but even in topics and or the animation style that I don't like, you can always recognize the quality that goes into it. So especially for a franchise, or sorry, not franchise, for an IP as large as Chainsaw Man, I've no doubt that they will be doing a stellar job of adapting this. Talking about the production staff, the producers and directors for this, the one common theme I found among them is that they all work on Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Which is, I think, quite an apt, it makes a lot of logical sense, right? Jujutsu Kaisen is also a series that has a lot of the more, I guess, grotesque things within it. It also has some bloody, gory scenes as well, and it's also a fighting anime, right? So if my guess is correct, what Chainsaw Man is, it's like a perfect fit for this as well. One thing I do want to particular note is the sound director, Koizumi-san. Actually, he's done quite a few works, including quite a few works that I've watched as well. Stuff like, Dororo or It Invaded, heck, even Listeners, right? And so some of these, in terms of the anime, maybe not exactly the best, but actually I do love the soundtrack choices and a lot of the BGM choices for a lot of these works as well. Another one is Juni Taisen, right? Which is probably not exactly the best anime in the world, but I love the soundtrack and the background music that came with it. So I am looking forward to this as well in terms of its sound production and quality there. And finally, let's talk a little bit about the seiyuu. So there's something interesting here as well, especially in regards to the four main characters, as I can see here. So the two main females, those I actually know. One is Tomori-chan, the up-and-coming new star of the seiyuu world. Although, honestly, I don't think you can... Should we still call her up-and-coming? I think she's been in the industry for more than 5 years now, right? Which means that she's moved away from rookie status. So in that case, I would say she's already an established rising star here in the seiyuu industry. Great voice actress, great singer as well. Pharaoh's Eye, also very distinct voice. Nothing bad to say there. Always enjoy her characters as well. The two male leads, though, that's where the interesting part comes. One of them is actually, I think, a complete newbie to the industry. Like, I've never seen him before. And the other one, honestly, I have not really seen much of him either. I checked his works, and I think he's mostly been doing just some small stuff or supporting stuff as well. And so yeah, this seems to be like the perfect opportunity to launch one's career, to be honest, considering this IP is so big and so hyped, right? So with that being said, let's hope that it lives up to its expectations. Let's get into the episode. All right, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Okay. Are you dying? Are you being chased? This movement doesn't seem like he's being chased. Unless, of course, he's badly injured or wounded or whatnot. That got really loud, actually. Thank goodness they didn't put a jump scare there at the end. I would have been so pissed. I hate this kind of stuff. Who likes jump scares? Well, I guess it's great if you're doing a reaction channel. Already though, like what did I say? The sound design, right? The sound design. That stepping on a twig was definitely deliberate, just to show us how much production is going into this, right? Oh, you saw his kidney? And his eye? Seriously? This guy's deeply in debt. Cool. Okay, this is... we're getting battle music already. Well, hello there, sweetie. Oh. Okay, I guess we just gotta... Wait. These are the four main characters, right? Huh. Very interesting choice of music. But I think it kind of fits into this sort of unsettling world, in a sense. Oh, there's this dude. Yon. Kenshi-san. Kenshi-san. This is sort of departure, I feel like, from what his songs usually sound like. I mean, they're always really heavily rhythmic driven. But this is definitely a little bit different. I wasn't even paying so much attention to what is actually happening on screen because, like, come on, you just see a bunch of monsters and whatnot, and that's that, right? I want to understand more about the world first. A tomato devil? So can you eat it? $1,800 for a month? Okay. Inherited debt. Oh, this is the Yakuza. Eat it, no doubt. Yeah. Did he actually give him 100 yen? I guess so. A coin, right? Yeah, I mean that's literally more than 5% of what his total worth is right now. And it's owned to the Yakuza, so you can't even say declare bankruptcy. I mean, relatable, I guess. Yeah, because if it was just a regular debt, right, owned to like legitimate businesses, you can just declare bankruptcy or whatnot and be freed from the debt. Here, though, owning money to Yakuza, yeah. Oh, was this his dog's, his father's pet? A deal with a devil or a demon. Literally just finished last season or something like that to hunt other devils, right? Engage kiss? Anyone? Why? Huh. I do wonder though, like, how valuable is Denji to the Yakuza? Like, according to that old guy, they typically aren't able to procure this kind of stuff, right? So maybe to them, Denji is actually valuable in a certain kind of perspective. Or is he gonna be killed here? This looks more like an execution than anything, to be honest. Huh? Oh, okay. I was like, that guy looks like a zombie or something. What the hell? Ah, I see, I see. A zombie devil. So literally anything can become like a devil? I mean, we already have a chainsaw devil, so... Hmm. Alright, zombies are still... I feel like... Oof. Oh, they weren't kidding about the blood and gore. Oh, is he... Ooh. So how exactly? What? So I guess this is how he becomes a dude with a chainsaw in his hand? He should be dead right now, right? Oh, okay. So because his blood. Hmm. So he can still use it as literal. Okay, that's kind of funny. I'm sorry. Hmm. Okay. That's nice. But hey, the dog is cute, right? And the ironic thing here is with this devil basically taking over and taking over the body oof, of the Yakuzas and whatnot, he was literally free, right? Like if it wasn't for the fact that he was hunted down for being a devil hunter as well. Okay. Oh, he's gonna sacrifice himself? Huh. Damn. And here was I was thinking they were gonna be like, best pals forever now. Is he going to pull the cord to transform? Yep. Of course. Grung. Oh. Grung. Oh, there you hear it, the low roar. Woof! Nice. Oof. Rook. Oof. Honestly, though, I'd be worried about slicing myself with those kind of arms. Ah, there we go, there we go. Yeah, I want to, like, mow through them, right? Yeah, there we go. Headbutt? Oh, no. You know, even though it's... I feel like even though there's a lot of blood, it actually isn't all that gory, to be honest. I think it's relatively okay. Man, you mind, mowing the lawn, dude? True. So what was that opening scene, then? Like, why was he heading towards, like, Nope. Are these from the Yakuza, or are these from, like, some devil hunting kind of organization or whatnot? I would reckon the latter. Nope. Nope. Gasoline. Oh. Okay. That's how you change back? I was not expecting that at all. Okay, public safety. Okay, so it's actually a government organization. Cool. Will you come with us? Say no more. Bread with jam. I don't know why, but she keeps on giving some Kurisu vibes. Am I the only one? Like Kurisu from Steins Gate? Ooh, nice. Okay, typically I will go through like the ending, especially for the first time. However, this seems to be like one of those where it's not like a pure ending. Instead, it's just like scrolling credits. So I guess I will see you guys after this. Well, actually, I don't know if there's some more after the credits here. If there is, I'll see you guys then. If not, I'll see you guys in the musing section. And there we go, the first episode of Chainsaw Man. So what do I think about it? To be honest, like, the thing that's been in my mind throughout the entire episode is Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, I know, we're not supposed to compare different animes and all that, and I'm sure fans of each series will come into it and be like, oh, no, it's not similar at all, blah, blah, blah. But look, first episode, first impressions, just looking at the opening, just looking at the setting, looking at the main characters, I gotta say there's a lot of, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say similarities, but the general feeling and vibe that you get from it, right? And that includes like the battle scenes as well. I do love the pumped up battle music there in during the battle scenes. And I mean, this is his first foray into this, right? This is Denji's first time actually doing combat by himself instead. Well, I guess I don't really know how he formally killed the devils, right? Like, perhaps he was already well learned in the art of chainsaw jitsu, if you will, waving pochita around and whatnot. But I think it's kind of implied here that he's really more of an amateur, maybe not exactly all that well trained with his movements and whatnot. So at least that was the impression I got here, and it would certainly make a lot of sense, right? He just literally got reborn into this Chainsaw Man, and is now fighting devils. And I guess lucky for him, or actually I don't know. Like, is the zombie devil actually a high level devil, a low level devil? Are we going to have like some sort of system in order to rank the characters and know their power levels or whatnot? I guess that's to be known in the next episode once he gets back to HQ with this government organization, and then I'm guessing we'll learn a little bit more about the world building and the world setting of this world. But at the very least, in this first episode, we already recognize devils are something that's like, unlike Jujutsu Kaisen, devils here are something that is definitely it's public, right? The general public knows about this. There are government bureaus that are involved in this, and I'm guessing it is a legitimate job, and so on and so forth as well, right? So already we have a big difference there. One thing I will say about the fight scene there is that I was so wishing that the final blow that Denji dealt to the zombie monster was him headbutting him, right? Like, come on, you have a literal chainsaw on your head. Like, how awesome! Like, I was waiting the whole time for him to be like, something like that, and dealing the final blow, or at least having like a critical blow to the devil there. Like, maybe it kind of sort of happened, once he got on him and started slicing him in half, maybe kind of, but I don't know. It lacked the visual impact I wanted to see for that part, or maybe they're saving that for some other fight in the future. Who knows? But I would have thought that it would be a very iconic sort of like first scene for him, in terms of him making his debut as a Chainsaw Man, as this sort of like human devil hybrid, right? So that was a little bit but beyond that, what else? So, I mean, the general story up to this point is quite straightforward. I don't think there's too much to add on that. He's also free of all debt now, and hey, he has a government job now, so, hey, you get that pension plan, you get good benefits, and all that, right? So at the very least, he doesn't need to worry about having a place to live or having food to eat anymore. So on that note, he's already accomplished the first step of his dreams. The next step is to get the girl, which I'm assuming is going to be Makima. I believe that's the girl's name, according to the credits and whatnot. And by the way, like I said at the end of the episode, she reminds me so much of Kurisu from Steins Gate. I don't know why, like maybe the red hair and also her eyes, if you will, and the way that she's the way that she talks, and the general overall feeling, the vibe that she gives off. Don't know if it's really quite similar to her in personality or whatnot, but when I see Makima, I instantly think of Kurisu from Steins Gate. Beyond that, what else? So I guess maybe potentially there might be some romance, or probably it's not going to be like a major focal point of the anime, or as the work as a whole, but I'm expecting like maybe some moments here and there, as all typical shonens do. Although would this actually count as a shonen with all the blood? Yeah, probably not, right? Probably seinen would be more appropriate for it. But speaking of which, as I mentioned during the episode as well, even though there was a lot of blood, it never really got to the point where I felt it was disgusting or horrifying or really to the terms of being gory, right? During the opening, the thing that I thought closely resembled it was another anime series called Dorohedoro, right? Which is, once again, no, those were the two animes that I was thinking of throughout this entire episode. One was Jujutsu Kaisen, one was Dorohedoro, which is also, I actually quite like that one as well. And I believe one of the producers or one of the directors actually worked on Dorohedoro as well, and obviously it's made by Mappa as well, etc., etc. Like that one, you get to some scenes which is really bloody and gory and whatnot, and you really do feel that. Here, I think it's relatively subdued, honestly. In fact, that was probably the most gross scene out of all of it was actually Denji being rebuilt by Pocha, right? That was probably the scene that had the most sort of was the most grotesque, if you will, but then again, it was also quite a sad scene, right? Because hey, Pochita now has given up his life. Although I guess if we look at it from a glass half full perspective, he lives on as the heart of Ninja, right? So who knows? Maybe we will still see him in the future. Once, I don't know, like once Ninja reaches a certain level or whatnot, or encounters some kind of crisis, maybe we'll hear from Pochita once again. Because after all, the sort of promise that they made was that Pochita would give the heart to Ninja, and Ninja would show Pochita him accomplishing his dreams, right? So on that aspect, I like to choose to go through it from a more positive perspective and say, hey, he is actually still in Ninja, in there somewhere, and looking over Ninja as well. So that way we don't need to cry over the sad little doggy there. Beyond that, let's see what else here. Yeah, I think for the first episode here, that's really all we can say for now. Again, I'm guessing that there's probably going to be a lot more that we can talk about in the second episode, where we get into the world of Chainsaw Man and all the government organizations, what's to be expected. He's probably going to still continue to be devil hunters. I mean, the fact that Makima appears on the scene here means that this government agency is indeed in charge of eliminating all these different devils, right? Whereas what Ninja was doing previously, he was probably being an unlicensed hunter. Like, probably it's illegal, right? Probably licensed devil hunters need to work for the government bureau, need to be registered and whatnot. So what Ninja used to do was probably illegal, which makes sense considering he was working for the Yakuza. So yeah, I think next episode is going to be a time where we get into a lot of the more juicier aspects of all of this. The rest, not too much else I want to talk about. Ninja right now to me is kind of like a, I don't have any particular like or dislike towards him. Like there are some shonens where I really can't vibe, I can't gel with the main character, especially for, I guess, your more stereotypical traditional shonens, right? Like a common example I bring up is actually Kimetsu no Yaiba, right? Demon Slayer, which is again another thing that's sort of like killing demons and whatnot. Like Tanjiro, I never really quite vibed with him. Like I respect him and all that, but honestly, he's not the typical main character archetype that I really like. Ninja here, I think he's kind of like in the middle. Once again, he kind of reminds me a lot of the main character from Jujutsu Kaisen as well. So kind of idealistic in a way. You can see there's a certain childlike innocence to him, but at the same time, it's not to the point of being too overbearing. Like he's definitely not the sort of like White Knight kind of character, if you will. And there is a certain degree of realism and being grounded in reality to this character. You can, especially for Ninja, who has this kind of upbringing and whatnot, I think that makes it even more clearer, right? In fact, I'm wondering if maybe he will also be it will be hard for him to adjust to living a normal life as well, because his childhood was basically working for the Yakuza and not exactly having some peers or anybody to talk with beyond Pochita, right? So it'll be interesting to see that part play out as well with him and the rest of the gang, which, again, I'm assuming there's going to be 4 main characters, and that is probably going to be the group dynamic. Although, judging from the opening there, I have a feeling that all 4 of them probably are also quite quite unique in terms of their personalities in their own ways as well. So we'll have to see about that. So yeah, that's it for this first episode. I don't think I missed anything. And like I said, we'll talk more in the next episode. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more to go on. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys next time. Stay tuned, and bye-bye.